work?
Think I'm ready for duty?
Do you feel ready?
I think it's the only thing keeping me sane. What's the call?
I'm calling to report a bank robbery.
Is this crime currently in progress?
Today.
See that guy on the bench?
Do you have a lighter?
That guy's up to something.
It's very hot today. It's like a furnace.
It's like a furnace.
There's a safe deposit box.
Is that the target?
Box 23.
Hands up!
But I'm the wrong man.
Where is she? Aloha. This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man. And tonight, opening weekend of the new movie Hypnotic, starring Ben Affleck, directed by Robert Rodriguez, storied by and written by Robert Rodriguez. Well, what can I say about it? You saw the trailer. It's kind of a mind-twisty kind of a movie. Sort of the likes of a psychological thriller. Sort of like what we'd seen early in maybe the early 80s, I want to say. Early and mid 80s. Well, remember our rating scale. Shaka thumbs up. It's good to see. I recommend it. Shaka thumbs down. It's junk. I don't recommend it. And for Hypnotics, it is overall a Shaka thumbs up. Gosh, you know, my hesitation is how to describe this movie. I say it's kind of a throwback to some of the early 80s kinds of movies. And all I can say is that one in particular by Stephen King, but I'll get into that in a moment. Just looking at the trailer, I had seen that this was obviously a smaller budget kind of a movie. It was interesting to see Ben Affleck taking on this role, a police officer who apparently has lost his daughter, seeking her out, discovers that it seems that the person behind it is some type of super hypnotist, you could say. Obviously, you know, hypnosis itself does not work like that to the degree that you see in these in this trailer. And so obviously my mind starts to go and think that it's like, oh, what is this? What really is going on in this movie? And basically it's like, oh, you know, it looks like mutants, psionic abilities, kind of that kind of thing, psychic powers, mind control. And it's like, and right away I thought, oh, well, you know, I thought Ben Affleck said he was done with these superhero movies. And here he is basically taking on these mutants a la the Purple Man, or altered humans, I guess, a la the Purple Man, you know, which is kind of funny if you think about it, because Ben Affleck played Daredevil in the movies, right? So with Marvel, and the Purple Man is from, you know, Netflix's show Jessica Jones. We know, you know, that fantastic first season of Jessica Jones, that the Purple Man has this mind control ability that whatever he says, people have to do. And he has this mind control ability, and that is exactly what we see taking place in this movie. And it is, to the most part, but amazingly enough, Robert Rodriguez is smart enough to give it a good twist so that all is not what we expect it to be. This isn't Ben Affleck, a police officer, fighting some mutant force, you know, and trying to find his daughter. the plot goes much, much deeper than that, and will unfortunately involve spoilers. But so if you don't want to hear any spoilers, go ahead and check out now. But remember, it is a shock a thumbs up. This will do great on streaming wherever it should go. Probably Netflix. You'll see it, video on demand, of course. You can pay to stream it initially, but probably in about 2 months you'll expect to see this on Netflix somewhere, something like that. And you'll want to really check it out there if you don't feel like going to the theater for. But it is a smaller movie, but it is well worth your time to check it out if you do like those kind of psychological, head-turning kind of movies. Now, we'll go ahead and move on to some of the spoilers of what is happening in this movie. And the best thing that I can say about it is essentially this goes well beyond that of the Purple Man and Marvel and what we had seen in Jessica Jones. It is like that. There are elements of that for sure, but it is in such large scope and large scale that the movie that struck me the most, a Stephen King movie, and book, of course, which the movie is based on, is Firestarter. Not the terrible one that came out a few years back, but the really good one from the 80s with Drew Barrymore as the kid. Essentially, Ben Affleck is one of the parents that was involved in this government organization, this government testing that gave certain individuals, the ability to create hypnotic constructs, which is essentially mind control and mental illusions, making people see and do whatever you want them to see or whatever you want them to do. And basically, Ben Affleck and his wife have this child. They're both very powerful, in these mental, psychic abilities. They have a child, and they realize that this government-sponsored, called the Division, organization called the Division, will want to have their child and use them to basically control the world, or have the world governments be puppets to them and this organization, the Division, who can control people mentally. And with Ben Affleck's child being the most powerful, the offspring of two powerful psychics, or hypnotics in this case, they decide to hide her away from the Division and for them to attempt to escape, so that they can live a peaceful life with their daughter, aka Firestarter. Because as you know, Firestarter, especially in the Drew Barrymore one, the kid, the parents, unfortunately the mother dies, the father raises the child on the run, from this government organization looking for them, in order to control them and their powers. And this is what we see in this movie, Hypnotics, very much, but taken to the 9th, degree, taken up quite a higher notch. So essentially, Ben Affleck, being this powerful psychic, knows that he's not strong enough to fight the organization himself. He knows that his child will be, once she gets to a certain age, once she's old enough, she'll become powerful enough. But he's got to hide her away from this government organization, the Division, up until she can be strong enough to, destroy this organization. And in doing so, he erases his own memory, puts in this fabrication of a detective, police officer, looking for his child that was abducted all so that at some point in the future he can get enough clues to find her and restore his memory, and seek her out, remembering that she is this powerful psychic along with himself, and their true foe being this government organization, the Division. So it takes many, many twists and turns. Robert Rodriguez tries to pull out all the stops. You know, there's some mental fooling around, aka you know, some head games, kind of what we had seen in Inception, but just not done as cool looking, because he didn't have that much money for the CGI effects. But that's what he wants to show in this movie, and he tries it, and it's not bad. I mean, but you know, on the shoestring budget, you know, he's no Christopher Nolan, and he didn't have that kind of money for these, you know, reality altering effects, aka, you know, the first Doctor Strange and stuff, where stuff is like the space is folding in on itself. But you know, Robert Rodriguez does some camera tricks to make the attempt to do that, showing you know, perceptions being warped, reality being warped, and it all works towards the story, and you get a very good mystery of what's going on, and I think it adequately surprises the audience, you know, moving far beyond what we would expect as being a normal police detective story, looking for his daughter and unraveling this tremendous plot, only to see that this was planned out beforehand by himself, by Ben Affleck and his family, to free themselves of this government or organization, and to take it down, fearing that, you know, they would obviously misuse you know, such powerful mind control abilities, you know, in their organization, not only against other governments and the world, but also their own country, and eliminate free will totally for everyone. So that's the scope, that's the grand scale of things, and it looks like there is room for a possible sequel if this does well. You know, like so many things nowadays, you could easily see that it could be a streaming show if they did that. You know, if they wanted to continue it, if there's not enough interest for a second movie, then definitely I could see an Amazon Prime, Netflix picking up this movie idea for a sequel and throwing it out in a 10-episode first season, and going on into a second or third season, even as the daughter, you know, continues to gain power and continue to fight this organization, which, despite their best efforts, still has some remnants at the end of the movie, despite their best attempts to dismantle it completely. That's all I'll say for spoilers, but I've pretty much told you all of the whole plot. Again, a shock and thumbs up. Good twists and turns. This is probably the most advanced Robert Rodriguez movie I've seen. You know, usually he's very much more into the blood and gore and, you know, violence, and you know, he was rather tame with all of that this time around in this movie, and it worked in building up the plot slowly and methodically, along with all this mental you know, hopscotch that you have to play in this movie, trying to, you know, push the thriller, psychological thriller aspects of this movie. So again, a shock and thumbs up for Hypnotics. If you're looking for a new movie, you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, you've seen Super Mario, You know, this is your best movie to go ahead and see, especially one if you like superheroes, you like, you know, things like The Purple Man from Jessica Jones and the Netflix show. You like Ben Affleck, you like detective procedurals and whodunits. This is right up your alley, and you know, you'll have a good time watching it. All right, mahalo and aloha.